has always been the stage for incredible action, but what unfolded tonight will be etched in the minds of fans for years to come. It started with a confrontation between Gunther and Jey Uso, a moment that had the entire WWE Universe on edge. Jey had been riding high after his recent victories, but that moment of triumph was short-lived. The arena had barely settled from his victory when the lights suddenly dimmed, signaling something ominous was about to unfold. The crowd, already buzzing with excitement, was sent into a frenzy as Gunther's chilling theme echoed throughout the arena. Gunther, the imposing and unstoppable force, stormed down the ramp with an intensity that had fans whispering in fear. His eyes were locked on Jey Uso, who stood in the center of the ring, not knowing what was coming next. Before Gunther could even speak, the crowd's anticipation was shattered by a brutal, blindsided attack. Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker charged the ring, both men coming in fast and furious, and suddenly, the ring was transformed into a war zone. The strikes were fast and unforgiving, with Rollins and Breakker using their combined strength to overwhelm Jey, who barely had time to defend himself. But as the situation seemed hopeless, when all hope seemed lost for the beloved Uso, two unexpected figures made their entrance, and the crowd exploded. CM Punk and Sami Zayn rushed into the fray, completely turning the tables. The atmosphere in the arena shifted instantly as Punk's straight-edge savior theme blasted through the speakers, and Sami Zayn followed close behind, ready for combat. What followed was pure, unadulterated chaos, a brawl that shook the very foundation of Raw. The action spilled out of the ring, into the crowd, and even to the backstage area as bodies collided and fists flew. Gunther's quest for revenge, Jey Uso, had been basking in the glory of his recent victories, but Gunther wasn't about to let him rest on his laurels. The cold, calculating, and brutal Austrian had been biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and that moment had come. As Gunther stood at ringside, his eyes narrowed, his lips curling into a sinister smirk. He wasn't just here to make a statement. He was here to take down Jey and reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. A chance to prove that nobody, not even Jey Uso, was safe from the wrath of the ring general. But just as Gunther was about to make his move, Rollins and Breakker took advantage of the chaos, launching their vicious attack on Jey from behind. It was a calculated strike, one that caught Jey completely off guard. The speed and precision of their assault were enough to leave Jey struggling to find his bearings. For a brief moment, it seemed as though Gunther would have to wait. Rollins and Breakker were pushing their agenda forward, working as a dangerous, unstoppable unit. However, that wasn't the case. Gunther wasn't known for sitting idly by, especially when it came to reclaiming his position at the top. He smirked as the chaos unfolded, knowing that this was just the beginning of something far more dangerous than anyone could have anticipated. Rollins and Breakker may have had the upper hand on Jey, but the seeds of a future war had been planted. Gunther, a master strategist, was already calculating his next move. CM Punk and Sami Zayn, the unlikely alliance. Just when it seemed that the night could not get any more chaotic, the arena erupted into cheers and chants. CM Punk made his way down the ramp, chair in hand, eyes blazing with fury. The crowd was on their feet, fully aware that Punk's presence meant only one thing. The chaos was about to get much, much worse for Rollins and Breakker. Punk had his own long-standing issues with Rollins, and tonight he wasn't going to let those grudges go unanswered. The straight-edge savior wasted no time. He entered the ring and immediately targeted Bron Breakker, cracking the steel chair across his skull with a sickening thud. Breakker crumpled to the mat, but Rollins, ever the opportunist, quickly went to work, stomping Jey Uso's head into the canvas with his trademark stomp. The crowd gasped as the brutal attack unfolded, but just when Rollins thought he had taken control, Sami Zayn entered the fray. Zayn, the man who had been through his own tumultuous history with Rollins, wasn't about to let his longtime rival have his way. Zayn leaped from the crowd, charging toward the ring with a Helluva Kick that sent Rollins crashing to the mat. The force of the kick reverberated through the arena as Rollins rolled out of the ring, trying to catch his breath. Zayn and Punk stood side by side, their rivalry with Rollins set aside in favor of a mutual enemy. They looked at each other with knowing glances, then turned their attention back to Rollins and Breakker, ready to unleash their fury. The chaos reached its peak as the four men brawled uncontrollably. The energy in the arena was electrifying. Fans screamed and cheered as bodies collided, and steel chairs were swung with reckless abandon. Jey Uso, recovering from the onslaught, found a moment of clarity, his instincts kicking in as he delivered a super kick that sent Seth Rollins flying out of the ring. The crowd erupted into applause, recognizing that Jey had turned the tide, but the battle was far from over. What does this mean for WWE's future? The aftermath of this brutal brawl was nothing short of revolutionary. CM Punk and Sami Zayn, two men who had been Rollins' greatest rivals, had just formed an alliance of convenience. But was it more than that? Fans were left questioning whether this was the birth of a new faction, a new force in WWE, or if it was simply a one-off moment of chaos. Either way, their combined assault on Rollins and Breakker had made a statement. When pushed to the brink, even the most unlikely allies can rise and burn everything to the ground. Meanwhile, Gunther stood ringside, smirking at the carnage before him. His desire for a rematch with Jey Uso had just become a personal vendetta. What had been a professional rivalry now carried deeper, more personal stakes. With Rollins and Breakker licking their wounds and retreating from the ring, Gunther's focus was squarely on Jey. There was unfinished business between the two, and this was just the beginning. Their future confrontation would be brutal, and the WWE Universe knew that it would have lasting implications for the entire company. Backstage, officials were scrambling to control the situation. What had started as an organized show of force had devolved into total chaos. The landscape of Raw had been irrevocably changed, with alliances shifting, rivalries intensifying, and the top stars of the brand engaged in this chaotic brawl. The power struggle had reached a boiling point. Rollins, Breakker, Gunther, and now Punk and Zayn. Raw was no longer just a show. It had become a battleground, with no clear victor in sight. WWE's new era? A power struggle unfolds. The tension in the WWE Universe is palpable, and Raw is at the epicenter of this new era of unpredictability. Jey Uso, despite his valiant effort to fight back, now finds himself embroiled in a dangerous feud with Gunther, a man who will stop at nothing to claim victory. Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker, humbled and bruised, may regroup, but their confidence has been shattered. CM Punk and Sami Zayn, two of the most unpredictable and dangerous men in the WWE locker room, have formed an alliance that no one saw coming. Will they stay together, or was tonight just an isolated moment in time? Whatever the outcome, one thing is for certain. The landscape of Raw has shifted forever. The power dynamics are in flux, and it's clear that anything can happen from here on out. The WWE Universe is on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting what comes next in this explosive new chapter. Did you witness the craziest Raw moment of 2025? Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell because this war is just heating up. Who won the night? Punk and Zayn or Rollins and Breakker? Comment below with your thoughts. This battle is far from over, and Raw's future is now more uncertain than ever before.